This is a lesson in how to make bialis. Bialis is a New York City item for whatever reason, and it's only made in a very few bakeries. And I love them, so I make them for myself and the family at home. Okay, close to 4.5 cups of water. Now the books will tell you.
Mayonnaise, right?
The books will tell you to use warm water. Now I don't use warm water because this machine causes a lot of friction, and it heats up the dough by itself. If I use warm water, it's going to be too warm, too hot, and the dough will get over kneaded. So I got to put in 4.5 cups of water. That's on now, is that right? There's 4. Now when I make the dough, I follow a recipe, but then I go by feel. I know how I want the dough to feel. That I'll teach you later. This is a 1/4 cup of yeast. This is called active yeast. There are other yeasts, but active yeast you have to put in water first to melt it or to soften it up. There's also other yeasts which you don't have to do that with, but I find this easier, and not only that, cheaper, because I could buy a big bag for $2 at Costco, a 2-pound bag at Costco that's much bigger, that's much more economical than buying little packages. And I just leave this in here with a drop of sugar, because the sugar gives the yeast something to feed on. Okay, just leave it for about 5-10 minutes, not to worry, and it'll soften it up, and you'll see foaming. You see the foaming, then you know that the yeast is good. If it doesn't start to foam, then the yeast may be outdated and bad. I keep my yeast in the freezer, it never goes bad. Okay, you see the bubbles? See the little bubbles? And it's starting to clump. That means it's good, it's working. That means that the dough, that the yeast is fine. Okay? Cool. Good. Okay, next. Now there's salt in every recipe for bread. Don't put the salt in until you put in after the flour. We put in the water, we put in the yeast, 1/4 cup of sugar. 1/4 cup.
No.
1/4 cup of sugar.
Did we put sugar in already?
Wait. Quarter, yeah. Fill it up a little bit over the top.
Anyway, so the deadline is.
You can go above. That's good.
Oh.
Okay, 1/4 cup of sugar. Now, what the normal recipe for bialis does not call for sugar. I put the sugar in, it gives a little flavor. It also helps the rise, and it also helps it brown. Okay, it's not a lot of sugar, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you sent it out?
With this amount of flour, you usually put almost a full cup of sugar, so I'm going to pour it, no big deal. Next is 10 cups of bread flour. This is down. And now, see the recipe calls for 5 cups of baking flour. Now you can put in the salt, 2.5 tablespoons. Just take a tablespoon. Just put in, what is it? 3 tablespoons. 3 heaping tablespoons. Goes on like this. Now you can make this by hand and use it by hand. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Now I want to get is this clean? Yeah. Okay. Now I cover this because the loose flour can sometimes flow out of here, and you get flour all over the place. That's why I cover everything. Okay. Now touch this. You'll see it's tacky, but not what they call sticky. Sticky would be when you took your hand out, it would stick to your fingers. This is just a little tacky. That's the way you want it. A little soft and a little tacky, just like that. Okay? I find plastic bags to be very helpful. Just take a plastic bag, spray it. Spray the inside of the bag with Cam or anything that's oil. Keeps the dough from sticking to the bag. After you put the dough in, we're gonna take it and we're gonna spray the top of the dough, so as it expands, it can stick. Okay? piece of dough. Make a little ball out of it and stretch it. This is called the window pane test. You got to stretch it so it's really thin. See, it tore, not ready. You see, as it gets kneaded, it softens up. Okay, now let's see what happens here. See that? Without tearing it, it will tear eventually, of course. But see how nice and thin it is? Just like a membrane. See that? You can almost see through it. Some people say you can look at it and you can see the gluten. Okay, now we put a drop, just a drizzle of oil. Makes it a little easier to get this out. The only difficulty with this machine is that it's a real problem getting the dough out. It weighs 39.14, 3.91. How many kilograms? I want. Okay, now we take this, put it in the bag, spray the top. And it's got to sit for an hour. The onions are very wet. You got it on here, okay? And you can squeeze them and get some of the juice out, but you really can't get them that dry. So what professional bialy makers do is they put it in a bit of breadcrumbs. Come on. So it's off the water. When it's baked, you can't tell the difference between the breadcrumbs and onions. This will sit, the breadcrumb goes on the water. Put a little drop of oil in here. Okay. So you can see, you can't see the breadcrumbs anymore. See that?
Yep.
And that's it, now the thing will sit. There's several steps to making the bialy, shaping them. The first is to weigh out, and then let them sit to rest and get bigger. So here's our dough. I'll bring it over there. All right, here's the dough we made this morning. Got it? We always keep the cover on part of it to keep it warm. Okay? I like to weigh them out, makes it for more uniformity, and it's, I'm doing 105 grams for each bialy. I have a scale, this is to go on the scale, set the scale up at 0, and cut, okay? Now we're going to make, we keep a bowl, a little bit of flour around, because when I put them on here to rise, you don't want to stick to the table. Okay, this is 224 grams, obviously double what I want. So I just have to cut. You take the ball and you roll it, just like that, nice little ball. Flour on the bottom, put it over here. Shape, so that they're all pretty uniform. Okay, that's all it does. So you put a drop of flour to begin with, take this out, okay. Now you don't have to worry about how much flour you put on a bialy, because bialy is supposed to have a lot of flour on the outside. And all you do is put this in here and pat it down. This is my tamper to pat it down a little more. See, get it all into the sides, and there it is. Okay? Take this and put it on here. How do you like that? And this gives you more uniform. I like them, you know, these are 109 to 111 grams. And by the way, this is very easily available in a plumbing supply department. These are ventilator caps. See, makes a nice round, beautiful shape. The rounds that we have shaped have now come up about twice double. So we put a little bit of flour in each one. Characteristically, a bialy has some flour on the top of it. So we're going to do it now. Okay, now, we're going to take this short side glass, flat bottom, and put it right in the middle. And that is the dimple for the bialy. Now, you got to take your fingers and make the middle a little bit thinner, because otherwise it's not going, otherwise it's going to pop up. Okay, you want to move some of that flour, you want to make a membrane, just a thin membrane with your finger. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Your around should be about between 3/4 of an inch and an inch, the border around. See, they're really flat now. Now you take the dough, you take the, this is the onion. About a little less than a teaspoon. Just like that. Just put it in. And when you're doing it, pat it down. That patting will also help to make the membrane a little thinner. Okay, now we've let these sit for about a half an hour to relax. Now what I like to do, because sometimes the membrane under the onion starts to rise, I take my glass, and through the plastic I run it down. And I do it through the plastic only because it gets very messy if I do it without the plastic. Okay, so I push them down, and look how nice, huh? And now we go into a 400-degree oven on the bottom. You'll notice I put them on a tray, and that is to avoid the bottom from getting too hard. They're starting to brown slightly.
Put it back in. Then you go on the top rack.
On the top rack, and then this goes in the bottom. Okay. Okay, we waited a few minutes, it's about 7 minutes, but don't time it, because then we have an issue. And here are the finished
I'll
products.
bring you the fancy ones, and I'll bring you